You can be multi-passionate and still be a business owner and still be an entrepreneur, but those two things can only coexist if you are willing to make some sacrifices and if you are willing to be consistent for some defined period of time. It seems like the only thing people say when they're talking about how to be more consistent is make a schedule, follow a routine. And while those two things are very important, and I will touch on them in this episode, that's not all it takes to be consistent. So today we're going to talk about how to be consistent in business as a multi-passionate entrepreneur or a multi-passionate business owner. But first I want to know whether you consider yourself a multi-passionate person at all. So if you consider yourself a multi-passionate person, give me a hands up emoji in the comments and tell me why. Tell me what you're passionate about. If not, let me know. That's cool too. All right, so in order to figure out how to be consistent in business, you need to know your why. We already covered that in the episode called How to Get Stuff Done Even When You Really Don't Feel Like It. So if you haven't checked out that video, you might want to listen to that one first. So there are 3 things you need to do in order to be consistent in business. And I'm also going to give you a bonus tip at the end that is especially applicable to multi-passionate people who are trying to start businesses. So number 1, you want to be realistic about your priorities. My life and your life might look very different, but I guarantee you we both have a set of priorities that we put above anything else. And we have multiple things that are always vying for our time, vying for that number 1 spot on our list of priorities. It might be kids, it might be a partner, it might be a job, it might be a business, it might be a side hustle, it might be any number of things that are all vying for that top spot. One of the first steps to being more consistent is to actually identify what those priorities are and also to rank them in order of importance, because you have to figure out where your business is going to lie in your list of priorities. Your business being number 1 is very different from your business being number 8 or number 10. The higher it is on your list of priorities, the more consistent you need to be with it, because that's what's going to guarantee you results. Now, if it's not super high on your list of priorities, that doesn't mean that you can't dedicate time to it or that you can't be consistent with it. But I would encourage you to evaluate why it's something you're even doing if you find that you create this ranked list of priorities and that your business is not really on it. So your first action step in this week's video is to create a ranked list of the priorities in your life. I need them to be in order, top to bottom, and make sure you include your business on that list. It might be at the top, it might be at the bottom, it might be in the middle, it doesn't matter. Just make sure your business is in that list of priorities, because the point here is for you to see where your business lands in relation to the other things you have going on in your life. Actually get out your notes app or get out a pen and paper and make this list right now. All right, you back? I'm assuming you have created your ranked list of priorities. Step 2. You want to figure out how to build, mold, tweak your business according to the list of priorities you have just created. The business you build has to be aligned with the priorities in your life. Let me demonstrate what that means, okay? In the future, one of my goals is to have a retail store. I'm not going to tell you exactly what kind of retail store it is. I'll let you know in a few years, but that is one of my goals in the future. I am not pursuing that right now because at the top of my list of priorities are my family, my husband, my 2 small children, my health, my current business, my podcast, my YouTube channel. There is no room for a retail store in my list of priorities at all. So that is not something that I would set myself up to pursue right now, because I know for a fact that that's not something I would be able to be consistent with at this point in my life. And I'm not willing to sacrifice the things that are higher on my list for that goal at this time. When I was still doing my postgraduate fellowship, I wanted to pursue a role called medical science liaison. And MSLs, they travel a lot. I ended up not pursuing that type of role because I would have had to sacrifice a lot of things that were higher on my list of priorities that I was not willing to sacrifice at that time. This is the same consideration that you have to make when you're considering your own business. The nice thing is that because it's your business, you own it, you can customize it to fit you and the priorities that you have. We talked a few weeks ago about how you can use your top 5 strengths to build the perfect business for you. This is another way you can customize your business to fit your lifestyle. Okay, now you're asking, Meg, what does this have to do with consistency? The thing is, it's much easier to be consistent with something if it involves doing activities that are aligned with your priority. So let's say my YouTube channel is really important to a business that I'm building, right? I'm not going to say that my upload schedule is going to be every day at 5 p.m. I cannot realistically film, edit, publish, promote a video every day. That literally does not work for my schedule. I cannot be consistent with that. What I can be consistent in doing is publishing an episode every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. By the way, that's when new episodes drop, so make sure you subscribe to the channel so that you are aware when I'm back in these YouTube streets. But back to my point, I cannot consistently produce a 5 days a week upload schedule. I can choose an upload schedule that is once a week because that is something that I can handle and incorporate into my life. So I'm going to set myself up for success by choosing an upload schedule to be consistent with that I can actually do. I am not going to set myself up for failure by trying to do something that I already know is not aligned with my priorities. Number 3, this is where we finally get into the routines and the schedules. Notice that this does not come first. Create and follow routines that are going to support your consistent effort. Now that you are well aware of what your priorities are and you have started crafting your business to align with those priorities, you can figure out what systems, what processes, what routines you need to create so that you can follow them in order to actually stay consistent. It's one thing to say that you're going to read a book, record a Q&A episode, upload 2 videos, upload to IGTV, go live on Facebook, publish 2 blog posts, share 5 promotional videos via DM on LinkedIn, and it's another thing to actually do that stuff. Think about your favorite creators. If you look at one of your favorite creators who has been doing this for 2+ years, maybe even 1 or more years, I guarantee you they are not flying by the seat of their pants. They have routines and they have schedules that allow them to be consistent with the content that they create and publish. I'm almost 90 episodes into the LaziMILLENNIAL Lounge podcast. It's been almost 2 years. I would not have been able to consistently interview amazing millennials, to consistently edit episodes, to consistently publish and promote episodes if I had not had a schedule to stick to, if I didn't have routines to follow. I'm gonna be going really deep into time management on this channel. It's a really critical aspect of being able to start a profitable business, especially if you are a multi-passionate person. So you're gonna get loads of tips on how to create these routines and systems. But I'm going to give you a few examples of some strategies today that you can use to stay consistent in your business. 1, batching. Pick one day or one chunk of time in a day to do a specific type of work. So I publish a podcast episode once a week, and that is a lot of content. I don't like to record all throughout the year, so I will choose 2 weeks at the beginning of every quarter to record every podcast episode that I'm going to be doing in that entire quarter. It makes for a hell of a 2 weeks, but it is a great feeling to not have to record for the 70 following days. That is an example of batching. Another thing y'all hear me talk about all the time is time blocking. That's basically when you break your schedule down into specific blocks of time, actual time periods that you are going to do a specific task. And then the last thing is accountability check-ins with yourself or with another person. My recommendation is to create a Google spreadsheet. It has a list of everything that you want to get done and when you want to get those things done. And then at that time, when you're supposed to have it done, go back to the spreadsheet to evaluate your performance. How much progress did you make on the things that you said you needed to do? That right there is going to tell you whether you have been consistent or whether you need to pick it up a little bit. Here is the bonus tip that I have for consistency, especially for my fellow multi-passionates out there. Try to incorporate multiple interests into your business. If you are a multi-passionate person, you know that it can be kind of stressful to choose one business idea, because when you choose, you feel like you are neglecting all the other interests and passions you have. I totally get that. I 100% understand that. And if you are not fully committed to that idea because, you feel like you are taking yourself away from these other interests you have, then it can be really hard to be completely committed and dedicated to that idea. So my suggestion is to try to make sure that your business involves multiple interests or passions or skills or talents of yours. It helps you feel like you have a little bit more range and like you aren't necessarily confined to one specific area. For example, in my healthcare copywriting business, I get to flex my writing ability, I get to work with public health and healthcare professionals, and I get to use my personal pharmacy and public health background. That's 3 birds, 1 stone. It helps me feel a little bit less claustrophobic. It doesn't all have to be a part of your end product or your end service. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are interested in music, sculpture, cooking, and you are a graphic designer, you don't have to try to create a business where you make graphic designs for chefs who work in the music industry and have sculpture. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to make all of that a part of your end service or product. You can incorporate it into your content. You can incorporate it into your marketing. You can incorporate it into your branding. There are other ways that you can incorporate interest or passion of yours into your business without actually building them into the product or the service that you're selling. If you know of a friend who needs help with consistency, share this video with them. I also love it when you guys take screenshots of the videos and let me know what was helpful, what you learned. So feel free to do that. Also, if you thought this video was helpful for you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you know when I'm back on YouTube, which by the way will be next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. This week, challenge yourself to be as consistent as possible. I'll see y'all next Sunday.